there's a straight couple that want to remain unnamed, and one of them so the man wants to get into this. He
Yeah.
wants to open up the relationship.
Yeah.
The woman's unsure. What would you say to them?
Take it slowly. That is my number one recommendation for anyone thinking of going into anything like this. Take it slowly, communicate. That's not, we have a thing, and I recommend this to all couples. We have something called a Nando's date, and every 3 months is there in the calendar. Every 3 months we go to Nando's, because who cares about like what happens in Nando's, and we just talk about our relationship.
Wow. So it's like a check-in.
It's a check-in, and like, you know, it means that like what we found before is that otherwise we would only discuss things, you know, on the way home from a night out or something. It's like you can't be like running your relationship based on like drunk conversations in the back of Ubers. So like every 3 months we go to Nando's. No one cares what happens in Nando's because it's like whatever, you can go to Nando's again.
By the way, Nando's, you need to be sponsoring me as well. This is kind of like the 10th
Hashtag
episode.
Nando's dates.
Someone's mentioned Nando's.
I'm really surprised that all couples don't do this, especially couples who like maybe struggle with that
A lot of couples
element.
do it in like, what's it called? The New Year's Day. Or September is a good time to reset. We're filming this in September, so if you're watching this now, then do it.
Tell me.
No, a lot of couples do this conversation you're talking about. Older couples, not like our generation, so people in their 50s and 60s. Like on New Year's Day, there is a whole thing.
What a horrible day to do it.
No, but
They're like killer come down, and you're like,
no, but they're not
oh,
all taking drugs.
I wish you were at home for dinner more.
They're not all doing ket and whatever it is, G and that sort of stuff.
What are you accusing me of, young man?
I'm not that much younger than you, Paul. But yeah, it's important for you to go to Nando's and just to discuss.
No, and I've told so many people about Nando's dates, and so many have been like, that's such a good idea. You can go, you bring along a little list, and you're like, hey, these are some things that I want to discuss. And it's not a fight, it's just like
And it's every 3
frank
months.
discussion. It's every 3 months.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go and you're like, things are great. Like, we're having a lovely time. This is really good. And sometimes you go and you're like, this has been troubling me. And like, it also just means that if something isn't working, you're like, okay, I'll save that for the Nando's date. I'm not going to have an argument, you know,
You're so mature.
in the middle of heaven.
You're so mature, because I just think people in a lot of relationships, especially, you know, I'm nosy. I'm a podcaster, so of course I'm nosy. But a lot of people will either, in this country anyway, it's different in the States, people bottle things up. They won't say anything. They'll let it out with their friends, and it's just like, maybe this will change. Maybe this will be different. But I think having that 3 month thing, and maybe for some people it needs to be every month.
Yeah.
Depending
And,
on the relationship.
you know, especially
3 months
maybe
is a good sign that things are
earlier
going
in your
well.
relationship. I think we could probably, showing off now, we could probably go to 4 months. But I think the key thing is that you check in and you actually talk about the relationship.
Yeah.
And you view it like as a thing that you've created together. It's not just like a weird coincidence that you live in the same flat.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is something that we're making together and hope to keep making in the future. And let's like work out the terms which we need for it to succeed.
So for the couple that are thinking of becoming open,
That's my number one thing.
They need
Nando's
to do
dates.
that Nando's day.
Get you to Nando's.